2024 Hickeys, the award show that's meant to highlight the greatness and laugh at the mediocrity of the past year. Here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
And welcome on in to the second annual Hickeys Awards. As you just heard right there, celebrating the greatness that we've seen in sports over the last calendar year. Celebrating the highs, both individually and collectively as a team, but also not forgetting about the lows, the embarrassing moments, the poor performances. We highlight it all. We talk about it all right here on the Hickeys Awards. Thank you for making us a part of your Sunday. Let's get this award show fired off here. All right, the first award is going to be to
Best Team.
We have a few nominees here. The UConn men's basketball team, obviously going back-to-back in dominant fashion. The Michigan Wolverines, undefeated, controversial, but undefeated national champs. The Boston Celtics. And the South Carolina women's basketball team, who had a dominant run of their own en route to winning the national title. So the Hickey for best team goes to the UConn Huskies.
He's going to dribble this one out. And the second verse is the same as the first. UConn repeats as national champions. The third team to repeat in the last 50 years.
This one for me was an easy one. I mean, you just heard it right there. That was courtesy of NCAA Westwood One Radio Network. It was a dominant run and dominant stretch there by UConn. Won all 6 tournament games by double digits. They went 37-3 on the year, so it wasn't like they just got hot at the right time. They were dominant from the start all the way through the end, and it was one of the best tournament runs we've ever seen. UConn men's basketball, the winner of the 2024 Hickeys Award for Best Team. Next category.
Most disappointing performance.
Soldier, come on. We're highlighting the good and the bad here. What we talked about to start the show, Lamar Jackson's AFC title game performance. At home, chance to go to the Super Bowl, dethrone the champs. Lamar sitting back there throwing the ball, fumbling, turning the ball over as well. Some costly turnovers to change the game. You lose 17-10 at home. That was disappointing. How about, speaking of defending champs, the Denver Nuggets, Game 7 at home. In the second half, you were up 20 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Choke that away en route to losing Game 7 and being unable to defend your crown by blowing that lead. And also, the Auburn Tigers, beating your arch rival in Alabama, ruining what ended up being Nick Saban's final year, preventing them from going to the SEC title game, not allowing them to really compete to make the college football play with a second loss on their resume. 4th and 31. They allowed a touchdown late in the game to lose the Iron Bowl. The Hickey for the most disappointing moments of the 2023-2024 sports season goes to the Auburn Tigers.
Milroe to throw out of the shotgun with time. Still with time. He looks. He throws to the back of the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Isaiah Bond with the catch.
Andy Burcham, almost in disbelief. Learfield IMG College right there, voice of the Auburn Tigers. I mean, 4th and 31. You just knock it down. You dropped everybody into the end zone. And somehow, you allowed an Alabama receiver, Isaiah Bond, to be one-on-one. How does that... Oh, Auburn, for all the magic in Jordan Hare over the years, maybe that was kind of karma for all the good bounces going your way to your hated rival to end their season, knock them out of college football playoff contention, knock the ball down. Auburn Tigers allowing a 4th and 31 conversion for a touchdown to lose the game. Yeah, that was the most disappointing moment, I would say, of this past sports year. How about best coach?
Best coach.
My bad, I was too excited. We got some good names on this list. Dan Hurley, UConn. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan. Paul Maurice, Florida Panthers. Mark Daigneault, Coach of the Year in the NBA for the Thunder. Kevin Stefanski, Coach of the Year in the NFL for the Browns. The winner of the Hickey's Award for Best Coach goes to Paul Maurice.
I've never hugged so many sweaty men in my entire life. I'm not sure I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it tonight. So, you know what? It's not what I thought it would be. It's so much better, but it's the hugs, man.
That was Paul Maurice's, to Sports Then, talking about his emotions after winning the Stanley Cup. Look, there's a few reasons, and it pains me to say this as a Rangers fan, as my heart was ripped out by Paul Maurice and his Florida Panthers in this year's playoffs. But he won this award for a few reasons. Number one, I respect the hell out of someone, in this case Maurice, who was not complacent. 2 years ago, the Panthers won the President's Trophy. They didn't have to change anything. They lost in the playoffs early on. They could have just rolled it back, said, hey, we had the best record in the regular season. Let's run it back and see if we can have some changes here and better luck in the postseason. They said, no. We're bringing in Paul Maurice. He brought a different style and brought toughness, and they go to the Stanley Cup final. A great run. They knock off the historic Bruins in the first round. And again, you could have been complacent of, hey, you know what? We went to the Cup final. What a great year. Hopefully we get him back. They kept on grinding. They were still a great team from start to finish. And him not being afraid to make changes. Him being personable, honestly. Almost blowing a 3-1 lead, but never losing his calm demeanor about him at times in terms of panicking. All that adds up to, for me, Paul Maurice winning the Hickey's Award for Best Coach.
Best moment.
This is a good one here. Best moment. We got a few nominees. Adolis Garcia. Really, I could say his entire series he had against the Astros in that hated interstate rivalry in the ALCS. That saw the Rangers pull off, we'll call it an upset, and go to the World Series. Obviously, we know they won the World Series. But we'll say Game 7. 2 homers, 5 RBIs in that Game 7 dominant blowout of the Astros to take them down and go to the World Series. We'll have the Lions beating the Rams, winning their first home playoff game since 1991. We'll have the Jets beating the Bills week 1 after the Aaron Rodgers injury on that punt return in overtime to win what was just an improbable game for the Jets there. And one of the best moments I thought from the sports year, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. A bowl that wasn't the playoff that captivated the nation and ended up with Kansas State not only winning, but eating what was, at a time, a live mascot of a Pop-Tart. All great moments that we just saw in this past year. The Hickey Award, though, for best moment of the sports year goes to the Detroit Lions beating the Rams in the playoffs.
There's Goff back, looking, throws. It is caught. Amon-Ra St. Brown, first down. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. That's going to do it. Jared Goff delivers against his former team. Now all they have to do is take a knee 3 times, and this game will be over. For the second time since 1957, for the first time since January 5th, 1992, these Detroit Lions are going to win a playoff game.
Oh my
Detroit,
God.
stand up. You've waited for this.
The exuberant voice there, Dan Miller of Lions Radio Network, with that call. I mean, he just listed part of the reasons right there why this was, to me, the best moment of this past sports year. Second playoff win since 1957. First playoff win since 1991, before I was even born. I've never seen a Lions victory in the playoffs in my lifetime before that wild card win. But that's not only why, to me, it was the best moment of this past sporting calendar, but also because of the opponent. Matthew Stafford, the guy who was great, but you never had any support on. He comes into your building. Sean McVay and the Rams, the team that dumped Jared Goff, by the way, said, you're not good enough to play for us. We're going to get an upgrade in Matthew Stafford. Worked out great for the Rams. Also worked out pretty damn well for the Lions as well. I'm sure that was a tremendous moment, even if he'll never say it publicly, for Jared Goff getting revenge on the Rams, but also for Lions fans, most of whom maybe will say, witnessed their first playoff victory in their lifetime. I thought for me that was the best moment of the 2024 sporting calendar.
Best athlete.
Ooh, this is a loaded field. Caitlin Clark, Patrick Mahomes, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Judge, Jaden Daniels, Scottie Scheffler, Carlos Alcaraz. I would say in terms of a category, this is by far the most stacked category we have in the Hickey's Award. So a stacked field. Only got to be one winner, though. The winner of the best athlete of 2024 is Caitlin Clark.
Ophelia gets in the paint, pull up, short jumper. No. Long rebound, dug up by Gabby Marshall. Scoops a pass to Clark. Logo 3. Got it! 22 is now number 1. Caitlin Clark is the NCAA's all-time scoring leader in women's basketball history.
She was, the face of a sport. You heard her set records there. She helped carry Iowa to their second straight national title game appearance. I know they came up short in both, but still an incredible accomplishment for Iowa basketball. And now she's the face of the WNBA. Took her a little bit. It was a little bit of rocky. But now you see Caitlin Clark getting comfortable, getting her footing, and now having success. All those other athletes are tremendous. No one has played at a higher level while also transcending a sport the way Caitlin Clark did. That's why she is the recipient of the 2024 Hickey's Award for Best Athlete.
Best Uniform.
My favorite. I'm a big believer you got to look good in order to play good. And so uniforms to me matter a lot. We have a lot of good nominees here. The Eagles Kelly Green throwbacks, the Ohio State all grays that they wore, the Titans Oilers throwback that they wore this past year, UCF's space uniforms. If you haven't seen them, check them out. They are beautiful. And finally, the last one here, the Seahawks throwbacks. If you couldn't tell, there's a theme here. Throwback uniforms for me, delectable. There's only one winner, though. The winner of the Hickey's Best Uniform Award goes to the Eagles for their Kelly Green uniforms. They were clean. They were crisp. They were beautiful. If the Eagles wore those every single game, home and away, I would never get sick of them. That is the telltale sign of a great uniform. Congrats to the Eagles and their staff for having the uniform of the year. All right, next category.
Game of the Year.
We got three more categories here. Game of the Year. Ole Miss LSU, an incredible back-and-forth shootout, 55-48. Ole Miss beat LSU. Washington, Oregon, another back-and-forth game. Dan Lennon goes for it a bunch, does not get it on fourth down. Missed field goal helps Oregon win that game. Helps Washington win that game in the regular season. This is not the big the Pac-12 title game. It was the one in the regular season. Bills, Eagles, back-and-forth, incredible second-half performance by the Eagles. And, by the way, their Kelly Green uniforms. Nuggets, Lakers, Jamal Murray, game winner in Game 3 of the playoffs. An incredible step back there to hit that buzzer beater. And Ravens, Rams, regular season overtime game that ended on a punt and return touchdown. The Hickey's Award for Game of the Year goes to Ravens, Rams.
Ethan Evans punting to Tylan Wallace. Evans hangs a wobbler. Wallace settles under it at the 25, gets a block, comes to the near side, 30. Spins out of one tackle, 35, along the near sideline, 40. He's at midfield. Wallace to the 40, still on his feet, 30, 20, 10. Celebration time. No flags. Wallace in the end zone. Hayes in the barn. And the Ravens win it in overtime.
10 different lead changes, 17 points in the final 5 minutes. Again, you just heard right there on the Ravens Radio Network. Walk off, punt return touchdown in overtime. Yes, please. I'll take it. All right. So we have two more write-ins here to finish out the Hickeys. We have the most bizarre moment of the year. We'll save that for last. In between, though, the worst coach of the year. Who was the worst coach in 2024? Frank Reich is a nominee. Monty Williams is a nominee. Josh McDaniels is a nominee. The Hickey Award for worst coach is Josh McDaniels.
It's not a celebration that we have a new coach and, there's been changes made. We obviously, I think it was time, one way or the other, it was time for some sort of change, just to bring a little juice in and revitalize the team a little bit. And I think it's more of a mindset that we're trying to, not force, but just have moving forward to just be as positive as possible.
Devontae won't say it. They celebrate him being fired. Coach of the year, worst coach of the year, I should say, Josh McDaniels. Final Hickey's Award, most bizarre moment. Aaron Rodgers being nominated as RFK's VP. Connor Stallions being seen on Central Michigan's sideline. James Harden trashing Daryl Morey last year, even though he's a member of the Sixers and Daryl Morey was his boss. And Scottie Scheffler getting arrested going to the PGA Championship. The most bizarre moment of 2023-2024, Connor Stallions on the Central Michigan sideline.
A picture circulated on social media appearing to show a man in disguise on the CMU bench. People said that man looked like Stallions, and CMU has yet to publicly identify that man. Athletic Director Amy Folan said an investigation is ongoing. If it is confirmed to be Stallions, then that would prove that he violated NCAA laws by scouting future opponents in person. The plot continues to thicken. This is one of the weirdest stories I can recall in recent college football.
It really is.
That curse at ABC 13, by far the weirdest moment there of 2023-2024. Connor Stallions going incognito on an opponent's sideline to scout Michigan State. That is the 2024 Hickey's Awards.